Well, thank you for joining Wolf Game Theory today, as always, and just know nothing in the show is to be construed or interpreted as financial advice. Also, any guest of the show is not reflective of the opinions and or point of view of Wolf Game Theory and should be considered opinion. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody out there on the farm. This is the Wolf Game Theory coming to you as usual. Myself is Layer Cake, joined by
Neil Bottle.
And today we're going to run through the Wolf Game Alpha Game standings, and then we'll quickly get into the anticipation for Wool Game number 2. But we'll start off with the top 5. As usual, we have G Money. I say as usual.
Well, that's actually new. It's new. I'm not used to it yet.
Let's say it's the new norm at this point. G Money, followed by the Real Crypto Coach Corey, Panther QB, and Wongsworth. Now that is the top 4 teams right there, but there is a lot of fire beneath them. As we look, we see AJ, the Real Crypto Coach Corey, Johnny Mo, and Woolish 1026. Now this is the middle of the pack, and this is where a lot of the action is happening right now, though some of it's being overshadowed by a lot of the moves being hurled to the top tier teams, but we all know that the real race is right in the middle there, with Crypto Coach Corey, team number 2, falling, and we don't know if he's just abandoning that strategy or what. We then follow with Lord Fenrir, who's coming in hot, actually, if we think about it. That sort of middle of the pack, I think we should extend to him because he's coming in hot. Just Some Guy, Friend 721, and the Shamdu, Corey's lackey, followed by Malcode and Mr. Anon. Running through the moves really quick for today, we have the anonymous team attacking House G Money. Then we have Johnny Mo attacking Real Crypto Corey number 2. Real Crypto Corey with his usual banter with Panther. Just Some Guy, again with the Real Crypto Coach Corey. Friend 721 attacking Real Crypto Coach Corey. The Shamdu launching a counterattack on Panther. The Real Crypto Coach attacking Panther one more time with the concurrent move. AJ fortifying right in the middle. Lord Fenrir attacking Woolish 1026, and that's the hot spot. And the last move of the day, the Wongsworth attacking the Real Crypto Corey Coach. As we move on to the Anon team, we're going to see if there's any moves to be had in the next couple of moments.
Yeah, so, up here with Malcode's army, the current price is 10,000 wool.
That's tempting.
That's the ending price. That's the cheapest it goes, dude. I haven't got it on me. If I did,
I haven't got it on me.
It's not there. It's all staked. It's all staked. It's all staked. Yeah. So I don't know, but yeah, I want to just.
It's going to be against Real Crypto Coach. It looks like. Yeah, looks like this next move is going to be a hit on Real Crypto Coach.
Yeah, 5042. So that's the first.
That's number 2.
His first number 1 team. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. So how many hours do we have for Malcode? His 4 hours for that one.
Right, and then if we look to the top of the charts, we've got Panther and G Money queued up right after that. So this could be quite the barrage. This is going to be a barrage.
That's going to be tough.
This could send Panther to number 2.
It could. Yeah.
Now, if Panther does manage to get the second spot, do they continue the barrage, or does Panther set his sights on G Money? That's what I want to know.
It's a good question, but it would. I don't think it would be in Panther's interest because he's still not stacking at the same rate in points as Corey. Right. You know what I mean? I still can't understand how there's 2 teams beneath G Money that are stacking more points.
I know, it's phenomenal.
It's crazy.
There's some secret sauce going on.
Yeah, and I don't understand it, but it's there's a lot of movement in this. So we've came into this 2 million and 1 million split, and people that are in the 1 million some of them down the bottoms. Here we have Lord Fenrir. he's going to start racking up very quickly in terms of the points because of his production rate. So he's going to pass out Woolish. Woolish has been playing a very tactically interesting character in the whole game.
Yes.
But it was interesting to see the few hits from low up on top there today. I didn't expect them. It was it's really getting nail biting, and we have WOOLEVENT 2 just about to announce. Like
any moment it could happen on air.
Hopefully.
Let's go into the Wolf Game Live stats. Here we look at Wool. We look at the advertisement here too as well. We look at that.
I love it. Favorite GIF.
Look at that.
That's your favorite GIF.
That is my favorite GIF.
Actually.
Yeah, love that one.
It goes up there with mine, but I think my favorite GIF has yet to come. If it's not the one with the farmers and Shep coming out the end and dusting himself off.
Right. The farmer burn.
It's going to be some sort of farmer GIF. It's going to be my favorite.
I mean, the Shep, like, just to talk about that GIF for 1 second, it's like, everybody, I got this sense of rage from the Shep, like, oh, you guys aren't going to mend the farmers, I'm just going to burn them, like, and have this, like, vengeful sort of, deity, like, but really, the GIF was totally the opposite. It's like, well, you guys don't want to mend? Look, it's all burnt. Here I come. Look. And it's just it's like Super Mario Brothers,
Yeah.
We're expecting this, like,
and I loved
volcano god.
I loved Brian DeSantos' theory that the Shep coming through the tube and coming out the other end himself and cleaning it all off is that there's going to be a Shep in the mint. The farmer reveal. You know what I mean?
A one of one. Just like amazing 101.
Yeah. And with ridiculous utility or something like that. You know what I mean?
God card.
Yeah. The Shep. Yes.
Let's look through the animals here for a moment. It looks like things are pretty much pretty steady. Those survivor sheep seem to be climbing a little bit. At least the Gen Zeros. Wolves are pretty steady. Which, I mean, between you and me, it looks like those Alpha Zero Gen 5s or Gen 1s, that seems like a good buy. I mean, obviously we don't know the utility of the wolf in the full game or the second alpha game, but I don't see any reason to buck the trend as to having utility beyond that of sheeps and whatnot. So
no, and
I look at them. It's very tempting. A Gen 1 Alpha 5 is very tempting at that price.
For sure, and they've been kind of simmering down, dropping a little bit lower, not too much lower though. Yeah, this is and I wish I tell you, like, I've been we talked about before the wool pouches. And I said that I'm waiting for that percentage, and that percentage is creeping up, dude. And my pouches are now, when originally I went looking for a wolf, the pouches are a lot more valuable now than in comparison, and that value is really creeping up there. I do suspect
is climbing too.
That's true.
Is getting more expensive as well, but still, I mean, shouldn't the price be falling then?
Possibly, yeah. I think Wolf Game's on its own trend, dude. It's That's.
I mean, once we look at the wool price, we'll be able to reinforce that theory.
Yeah, so we'll move on there to the wool price, and I haven't looked at the charts for a few days, and I was pretty surprised. We're on a 5 minute here, that's starting to take off now. As far as some, simple TA I was doing with supports, it smashed those supports. I have to move them up.
Yeah. I mean, if you could just take that beginning part right there and just kind of peel it right before it pumped really heavy into the mountain there, that little kind of teacup, if you took that and just superimposed it right where you are, it's pretty much identical to a certain degree right there. It goes up. It's just such a nice chart, and it looks like we're going to be setting some new floors maybe here around the 20-cent mark.
Yeah, if you look at our last cycles, back here where I have that cross is, that was an announcement and a pump back down. these are all very straightforward cycles. These are easy charts to trade if you're following the game, I think.
Absolutely.
Like you can see where there was big announcements, or that was that big buy. What was the guy's name? He actually followed me the other day. I was like, oh, cool.
Did you say hi?
I didn't. I should have. I should hop into I should slide into DMs more often.
There you go.
But
that's where the magic happens.
It is, and yeah, it really is. But you can see these cycles, and then this was start of alpha game, yeah.
Yeah.
And we really blew off top there, like.
Like, and I think this is obviously, I feel like that's where we're headed now, because once this full game gets announced, I think it's off to the races for a moment.
Yeah, and you can see that we're holding. Before that cycle, we're holding higher support than before that cycle. I'm looking at this red line here that I have is something that if it starts to drop below that, that's that's what I'm not expecting now, I think.
So you're holding at around 20
cents
to 22 cents. Yeah.
No, 20 cent support, I think. Yeah.
That's the new one. I think that's correct right there. I think
it's still early. It's still early. Like we're not even in we're only 24 hours in.
Yeah, but I think also the same way it bounced between 14 and 17 for a while, I think it's going to bounce between 20 and 25 for a while. We're going to see that in this next leg, and then once that full game gets announced.
Oh wow, look at that daily chart.
It's so much prettier when you just consolidate it.
It is. It always is, isn't it? Yeah.
It looks like a waltz. It really does.
Yeah, it looks like we're coming into a little cup and handle here. So could we see like a nice little kind of steady drop down to 20, and then back up, and then our next support? I'm thinking, because I have this line in on the daily chart, I'm thinking it's around that kind of 31 cent. So that must be there for a reason. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I'm a believer for sure.
I put that in at a point on the daily chart there when we were coming up. I think that was where I expected it to stick to, but it obviously dropped a lot further. So this is a kind of a support line that I'm interested in personally from my TA point of view, I suppose. Right. That I'm not very experienced with.
I mean, I'm looking at all that. I'm looking at both of those lines, and I'm not seeing any fault in that analysis, so to speak. It's like just based on what we've seen, and we've been talking about this since forever, and I think again we're establishing a new high between 20 and 25, and I think that's going to roll us through this second leg of the game. People will buy, people will sell. There may be some little bit of dips below that, but it'll test the support.
Yeah, so in the last day we've dropped all the way down to 20 cents. So we've checked those levels, and it popped right back up.
Right.
And now we're about to get a serious announcement. So I think this is like a little bit of a test for the community. Are we buy the news and sell the rumor? Or sorry, buy the rumor, sell the news, or are we buy the rumor, buy the news, and just keep on buying, because this thing is not stopping. And that's what happens with apes. That's how they got there, because they seen the future in the project. We all see it, and it's only the holders that can stop it back now. And those are facts. And you know what? Over 80% of holders are staked. Over 80% of the assets are staked. That is a crazy number.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have that sort of off to the races moment.
Yeah.
That's what everyone's kind of waiting for now. And, that's why we can't urge enough. If you're going to buy and if you're going to get in, now is the time.
Yeah, now just from switching back to that daily chart, before I was accumulating under 20. And now, depending on the next few days, I'm going to be accumulating under 30.
Yeah.
And that's the way I would look at this. If I have some liquid and it drops back down to 20, I'm buying that stuff.
Well, we're gonna need, and I'm gonna re-emphasize this, and we can sort of lean into our next conversation if you want, which is the potential for the interim game number 2, which I personally feel like will incorporate the breeding mechanism. I think that's coming into play here, and I think it follows suit with the lead into the full game, which I think it needs to happen, and we're going to need wool to do that. People are purchasing wool now in anticipation for the second game without knowing what it is, but I feel like it's going to be some sort of breeding module of some sort that's going to be introduced, I think.
I don't disagree.
Even if not for this particular second game, there will be some announcement between now and the full game, I believe, in which breeding will be introduced, because I feel like we need more NFTs.
I completely agree.
To play it on the scale we all sort of have been envisioning it to be, we need more NFTs.
Yeah, and I think something that the Shep has probably been antagonizing over is that rate, because we know for a fact that when the Shepherd launched the original phase and wanted all of the assets out there, well, he did not expect it to be ending in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Not only that, but he didn't even put all the assets out there.
Well, no, he couldn't, because there ended up being the...
Well, that's what I'm saying. The plan was to have more than this.
And I think before we see the land player boards released, we will see the breeding game.
Yeah. We need more NFTs, unless he's going to drop some more.
And you know what? I think we might need more wool.
Ooh, I don't know if
I think we might. I think we might need more wool. I could be wrong on that. I'm hoping the Shep, like as you in the spaces yesterday, and I thought it was brilliant. You kind of compared the Shep to the federal bank.
Yeah, the central bank,
the central banks, we could argue about what federal means all day, but yeah, the central banks and if you want to kind of go back and touch on that, I think that's a really interesting point you mentioned in the spaces yesterday.
Well, looking at the space as a whole in the NFT space, you look at the creation of an NFT ecosystem, the challenge for a developer or creator is, how do we manage the supply of that NFT? So that's one part of it. The other supply in Wolf Game is launching a full-fledged economy, which is in the pinned tweet. The job of the team, or the job of the Shepherd in this case, is to control the supply through inflation and deflation. So we have these deflationary burning mechanisms that are built into the game, but we also have an inflationary mechanism with the free market existing of people buying and selling it, wool pouches diffusing, and things like that. So the Shepherd has to not only keep the NFTs off the market through staking, which is just that's just the natural thing that initiates the NFT value, the squeeze, but he also has to manage the supply of the token, the supply of the monetary sort of what makes the game and the economy sort of move. And when we think about that from the perspective of, say, someone in the IRL who works in an economy, these sort of things that he's doing, these mechanisms of stimulus are or is the game, so to speak. These burning mechanisms, these different instruments that he uses to burn wool. You unstake your sheep, you burn your wool. You think you lose your points, or if you unstake your wool, you burn it. Yeah. And so we have yet to see the other mechanisms that he has in store for us to control the inflationary, deflationary sort of teeter-totter that you have to do as the central bank or as the Federal Reserve in the case of the United States. So, looking at it from that vantage point, it's easy to see, okay, well, if we look at the game in its totality, you can see those catalysts that have an influence on the supply of wool and on the cost of wool in essence, because that's one of those side effects of that manipulation, if you will. So just looking at it from that perspective, you can sort of really begin to understand, like when we look at the wool chart and we say, oh, that's an announcement, this is breeding, this is there. It's just the push and pull of inflation and deflation within the game.
Yeah.
And that'll, if you can really understand that and begin to,
I think that also lends into the importance of the shepherd as this enigma figure that he is.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? Like that, like that actually adds more to the game than it takes away. And having the likes of the herdsman who can support that anonymity. Anonymity.
I'm gonna make you say it. I'm not gonna say it.
Anonymity.
You have kids. You've seen Finding Nemo, right?
Exactly. So, yeah. But
no, I get what you're saying though. The anonymity of the shepherd really lends to the stability of the market because it's sort of an uncorruptible figure, right?
Yeah.
If we knew who he was, then people can get to him, and there might be influence, and there might be disposition as to who he is as a person.
I really like that about it. That's what I really like. That this he's proved himself to be quite loyal. Not loyal. We're loyal. He's
benevolent.
Yes. Yeah. And trustworthy, like I like in Shep we trust. We go back to what Metapunk.
In Shep we trust.
In Shep we trust, and I think that's something that the community really embodies.
Yeah, when people talk about not being a Docs team, having that be sort of a detriment, I think in the likes of Wolf Game it's actually a positive because when you're dealing with an economy that sort of relies on trust and relies on, having faith in the leadership, you don't want to have that be a corruptible figure or a corruptible organization in which people can then begin to try to find angles to influence decisions. So I see it as a positive. I think if the shepherd is ever doxed, it'll be something that has a negative effect on the game.
Yeah.
I really do, honestly.
Yeah, I agree as well. And it's something that I don't seek. Yeah. And just to touch off, I'm just gonna say a quick hello to an old pal of ours. He's been through a rough time.
Oh yes.
I don't, I'd love to chat to Beanie. I'd love to shoot the shit with him and
we should invite him on. Let's see if he wants to come on.
That's a good point. Maybe I'll reach out publicly. I'd love to get him on the show. I'd love to hear his opinion. I'd love to kind of, just shoot the shit, find out, what happened, and let him speak for himself and give him a platform where we're not going to judge too much, you know what I mean? But I do not want to make a judgment yet. Either way, I don't want to share this and kind of go, oh, Beanie, yeah, fucking go follow him again. He's back, yay.
No.
But I do urge people to read it, try and form their own opinion, and let's give him another chance.
Absolutely.
Personally, I think he deserves it,
Well, we're trying to do things a little different here in the Web3 space. And I think that, it's something bigger than ourselves to be able to forgive people and forget. And again, we're trying to do it different. Remember that. We're not trying to cancel people. We're not trying to excommunicate people. Canceling is not even cool anymore. My wife told me.
That
I was like, wasn't that person canceled? And she's like, oh no, we don't cancel people anymore. And I'm like, oh great, thank you.
Yay!
Fucking A.
But no, look, and even if like I know I'll address it. I had a run in with someone. Like I don't exactly feel happy about it, but I feel the same as them, and I'm gonna stand up for myself and point out what I believe in. But at the same time, I'd always allow that person a platform, and if they were to reach out to me and talk to me in a way that's not condescending, I'll deal with them any day of the week, and that's Web3 to me. You know what I mean? Web3 to me is not talking down to people, and it's doing your own research, standing back from people when they maybe fuck up, but also being willing to go, okay, cool, you're back in now. You lost your patch, you're back on track, great. You learned your lesson, and I think that's what it's all about. Do you understand?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think people need to do a lot more listening in just in life in general, but I think in the Web3 space, and I've seen a lot of examples recently of people being condemned, found guilty before they're allowed to state their innocence or anything, and in some cases they are very warranted, and in other cases I feel like there is somewhat of a rush to judgment. So I was brought up and I was raised in the idea that you give people a chance, and there's such thing as second chances, and sometimes honestly third chances, but there's just too quick a rush to judgment in this day and age. And I'm not in any way, shape, or form condoning anything that Beanie has done in the past, because I don't know. I'm just merely saying I don't know.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And so if I'm speaking out of turn and if I'm rubbing you the wrong way because you do know, I apologize, and feel free to reach out to myself or Wolf Game Theory or Neil and share
and look,
your story.
I've said this time and time again, and I've learned so much from so many people in this space, but somebody that delivered it right for me made me kind of enjoy the interactions and read between the lines and kind of make things more interesting. That was Beanie. I learned so much from the guy, and I'll always respect that. And I wrote a thread the other day and I said in it, Beanie, like him or hate him, like, the guy is smart. He gave me advice and I've took it. And that's why we're here now, is because of Beanie. End of, so I'll always thank the guy for that.
I would almost throw out the word genius.
Yeah.
I would say he's made his mark on Web3, whether you like it or not. Now it's up to you on whether or not you're going to.
Genius doesn't mean good or bad.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So. And look, on that note, I think we should wrap up today's show. I had a great one. I think.
Yeah, and this is a good day. And tomorrow, or actually Friday when we get back, we'll have a interim game number 2 and see if anything we said today was correct.
Yeah.
That's the fun part about doing videos.
And that's the name of the game. It's speculation. Maybe we should call it the Wolf Game Speculation.
Wolf Game Speculation Station. That'll be the segment. Speculation Station.